Right, okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Zoom meeting from the 20th of October for Camberley Chess Club. Tonight, our speaker will be correspondence chess and postcard expert, Colin Lyne. So over to you, Colin.
Okay. Well, John asked me if I could show some of my games in the past that I played on postal chess. This was before everybody was putting all their moves into the engine. So I thought I'd show you some games. The first game, I was actually facing a guy called Michael Miffelwaite. Now, in postal chess, you tend to get these really crazy gradings. Mine was 2468 at one time. And I think Miffelwaite's was over 2500, so I thought he'd be quite a tough opponent for me. I can't see any of you.
Are you sure your opponent wasn't Michael Caine?
No, he wasn't. I can't see any of you. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, okay, we can't see your board yet, Colin.
Can't. Oh.
If you want to see everybody, Colin, you've got to click on speaker view or something to make them come up down the side.
Yeah, have you shared your screen? Have you shared your screen, Colin?
Oh no.
That will be the reason.
That explains it. Share screen, yeah. And then I
select
click on. Is that right? Share. Click on share. And now.
Okay, we're seeing your Zoom. Okay, that looks good. Yeah. That's it.
I can see you now. At least I can see some of you. I can see Sandy scratching his head.
Okay.
So this first game, I'm black, and I'm against Michael Miffelwaite, who, like I say, was quite a high-graded player in correspondence, so I expected a tough game. And as
what sort of year was this game, Colin? This
game, well, actually, it's actually wrong on the website. It says 1993. It actually started in 1992. Though no doubt it continued into 1993.
And was this by postcards or email?
We probably had a scorecard, and we probably sent the scorecard backwards and forward. We used to do that. Sometimes we'd use postcards. Postcards were used, but I think most of us used scorecards because we thought that was cheaper.
Yeah.
So does that mean the postman gets to see all of your moves, Colin, or is it a case of you were the postman?
Well, actually, I was a postman in 1993, 1992, 93. So I suspect that my friends just brought my postcards around, or whatever my mail was, and just brought it round to me. Never even bothered putting it through the door, because they often used to do that.
When you went to people's houses, Colin, did you always knock twice?
Well, no, I didn't always knock twice, because sometimes they answered after the first time.
I'm sure I was told that the postman always knocks twice, but
No, if they answer the first time, it's not really worth it. Otherwise, they have to come back again.
Okay.
Answer the door twice. Okay, well, the game started like this. I have to say that I'm never impressed with people who play bishop takes knight here, because I think it's really boring.
But your hero used to play bishop takes knight here.
Bobby Fischer actually used to play. He played against Spaskin. He beat him as well. Bobby Fischer, in the 1960s, nobody was playing bishop takes knight. And in 1966, Fischer played Portage. And he played bishop takes knight. And I think Portage probably almost fell off his chair when he did that, because nobody had done it for years. Interesting enough, though, all the computers reckon that bishop to a4 is the best move. Let's put the computer on.
No. Okay.
So I played knight here.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started playing seriously, I thought, what am I going to play against the Roy Lopez? Because it's going to happen in a lot of my games. And I decided that the open variation, which looks quite an interesting variation, it doesn't get played all that much. Bishop e7 is much more popular than knight takes e4. But if you remember the first match between Karpov and Korchnoi in 1978, I think it was at Baguio City.
Yeah.
And Korchnoi played this move, winning the pawn, or at least temporarily winning it. Now, if you really want to, you can play rook e1 and get your pawn back very quickly. But that's not supposed to be the best move. d4 is supposed to be the best, offering a second pawn. And Fischer played Trivanovic on one occasion, and Trivanovic actually took the second pawn. But you're not supposed to. You're supposed to do what this guy does in this game.
Sorry, Colin, are you black or white in this game?
I'm black. I played the Open Lopez for about 30 years. I gave it up a few years ago. I now quite like the Archangel. That's what I've been playing mainly online. Did play the Sudama for a while, but you can play knight takes pawn here, but if he does, you just exchange knights and play c6, and you're immediately equal. This is the move that all the grandmasters play. This is what Karpov played. Now, the reason why I actually stopped playing the Open Lopez was because Karpov played this move, and Steve James played this against me a while back, and he got quite a good position against me. This is the real test of this line, in my opinion. Now, there's a line that goes like this. No, I usually play bishop e7 here, but Korchnoi was playing this move against Karpov, and he was quite stunned when Karpov played a new move. He played this move. What do you think about that as a move then?
Strange.
Wow.
What do you think Karpov's idea is? Because can't he just play queen takes knight and win a piece?
Yeah. Does knight e4 win something back?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Knight e4 loses a second knight.
Oh, you're right.
The knight takes knight.
Bishop takes queen.
Yeah, 94.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, but it doesn't win a piece back though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, knight e4, you could probably play queen to here, I should think.
Yeah.
Queen takes this.
Queen f3.
Queen f3, that is the idea. That is what the idea is. And this actually happened in one of their games. You can play castles here, queenside, when he plays queen takes knight. That is one of the lines.
Wow.
That's and that came out in the Baguio match, did it?
Yeah, and
Wow,
that's the first time anybody's ever played it. And it turned out
pretty amazing play for a world championship.
Yeah, Zaitsev was the person who found this move, apparently, according to Karpov, who was one of his seconds, and he was the first person to find this move.
And you can't even play bishop d7, can you, or anything like that? Oh.
No. So, yes, that was quite an interesting idea, but it again surfaced when Kasparov played Anand. It also surfaced in that game. And we got the same thing. I mean, so up to this point, I think something like bishop takes bishop followed by a4 was the most normal line. And so this was a real big surprise that this happened. And it happened again in the Kasparov game. I can't quite remember what Anand played. Yeah, I've got a feeling he might have played something like this move. But in the 6th game, they drew. So Anand came out for the 10th game. By then, he had annoyed Kasparov because he'd gone and won the 9th game. They were on very good terms until he went and beat him in a game and took the lead in the match. But in the 10th game, Kasparov absolutely hammered him. And he found some fantastic preparation in this whole line, even offered a whole rook at one stage to Anand. So that was the move that stopped me from playing this line. Anyway, in this game against middleweight, bishop e3 happened. And I don't mind playing against this. Bishop e7, c3. The idea is to bring the bishop back here. Knight here, bishop here. And now I sprung a slight surprise. A few years ago, Tao played Timon in the 1960s, 1970s. And Timon played this move. And at the time, this move was new. And I found out about this move and I quite liked it. And so I started to play it. One of the ideas is that if he goes bishop here, you intend on playing this move. And I played Alexander Shanaev for Golders Green once, and something like this happened. He even went here, and he was actually losing. He had a grade of 238 at the time, and for much of the game, he was losing. Eventually, he beat me, but he only had seconds on his clock when he mated me, and he came very close to losing against me. And afterwards, he was quite surprised. But it surprised me that he didn't know the opening better than this. We expected a guy at 238 to know the opening better than I did, or at least as well as I did. So we got knight takes here, knight takes, bishop d4. What would you play here? Now looking at what the computer says.
Well, probably knight g6 I would play. I'm not sure it's any good though.
Knight g6.
Yeah.
Well, knight g6 is actually today regarded as the top move by computers.
Okay.
And it's more or less equal. But at the time, theory was given knight g6 and knight c6 as equal. And I played the move knight c6. What you must be careful of here is doing something really stupid like this. And you're going to lose a piece.
Yes.
So yeah, I played knight c6. He took here. My reasoning here is that I'm going to get some attack down the g file. That's what I'm hoping for. That's why I played this move. Well, he played this move. This apparently is a new move. Well, at the time it was anyway. So I continue with my plan. He took here. Quite a strange position, isn't it?
Why couldn't he play? Why couldn't Black play rook takes bishop earlier?
You want to play rook takes bishop here?
Let me show me. No, but the move before.
I think before you play queen d7, I think there's some tactic with rook takes e6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why Black played queen d7.
Of course, you're
Queen
right.
d7 does happen because the rook takes c6.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Right, Steve. So now this happens.
So now you're material down.
I am material down. On the other hand, I got, you know, who's king is most exposed, and I'm well ahead in development. Having said that, according to the latest computers, white is better.
Yeah.
They're probably not yet winning, but he's probably better. Not surprisingly, a4 happened. How would you respond to that move?
b4.
b4, yeah. I think b4 must be played here. Now he played queen h6.
What's the point of queen h6? Shouldn't he just bring his knight out?
What, Black?
White.
No, White's just had his go, queen h6.
Yeah, but we're trying to work out why he played queen h6.
I asked the question, why did he play queen h6 instead of knight d2?
Well, let's have a look. Well, the computer thinks he should have played knight d2. It's not given much advantage. Bishop d3 as well. Queen h6 has given us the fourth best move here by Komodo. It's not considered a bad move.
Yes, I don't see why h6 is a better square than h7 for the queen. You're not queen. Neither the queen nor the bishop are threatened, so seems a waste of a move, really.
Oh, maybe he's going to play.
Yeah, knight d4 has been given top move. And suddenly it seems to think that I'm okay.
I prefer to have the back pieces here.
Further in black.
Yeah.
Well, black's got a definite plan, hasn't he?
Was
Yeah.
black threatening f6 then?
Anyway, he played this.
Was the idea of queen h6 because black was going to go f6 or something?
Yeah.
Um,
Even f5.
Rook takes bishop after f6 with the queen on h7.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say, Colin?
If white played some move and then black played f6,
Oh yes.
then rook takes bishop is a threat because of queen takes rook, bishop f5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It does seem, yeah. It might be why he played it though.
Anyway, well, that's what he played. How would you play the black pieces here? Let's see whether the computer agrees with my move or not.
I played d4. Oh, it says it. Oh, f6. Quite likes.
I think the computer's come up with quite a strong move here that gives me serious counter chances. I didn't play it.
What did you play then, Colin?
It could lead to mass swap-offs, couldn't it? d4.
Well, I actually played this move
Oh, wow.
Oh,
because I actually want to clear the G line.
Yeah,
and I
that's a
want
good
to attack
idea.
down these two files.
Which
But
just
according to the
demonstrates that
computer,
queen
I should
h6 was
play
wrong.
this move. That's the move the computer likes.
Did it just friend D3?
Sorry?
Does it just friend D3?
What, here?
That's what you do, yeah, because you're friending D3, yeah?
I'm threatening D3, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I might also take on C3 at some stage because he's going to have some sort of problem getting his knight out if he's not careful.
Can't he play bishop h7 here?
Bishop to h7. Well, it's not. Let's have a look at what the computer likes against that. Rook takes g7.
wow.
Queen takes d takes c3. And he thinks black is a bit better there.
Really? The exchange down.
Yeah. Bishop h7. Okay. He's going for.
Could just move the rook to e8, couldn't you, if you want to?
Well, even this move.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the computer I got on is not a very good one. Well, yeah, he seems to think this is quite good. Black's got a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we played this move. And he played bishop takes. And I played rook here takes. And now he went bishop d3. He's still doing quite well. So I played that move, and he went here.
He's untangling a bit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Quite an interesting position, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Can you play bishop h3 here?
It reminds me of a French winnower to some extent.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier on, yeah.
Well, I actually played something more subtle than that.
Subtle?
Subtle.
Yeah, I actually played this move. Spot the threat.
I thought you said it was subtle, Colin.
Right?
I'm kidding, it's all right.
I'm threatening this move.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that.
Queen. So he played knight here.
Ooh.
Blimey.
Ooh, golly.
I went here. Personally, I think maybe he should have just retreated. Well, he played Queen F6. Well, the computer seems to like Queen F6. There can't be anything wrong with it. According to the computer, he's winning. By the way, he was winning. You just have to fight on in correspondence. I played this move. I think my idea is just to double on this file.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw everything at him, and then I'll probably play this bishop here, threaten his knight. And that was my idea. So he played queen. Once again, he plays a strange move with his queen.
Yeah, that's not the right move. Queen's better there than if the bishop.
Well, according to the computer, it's one of the best moves. The best move is G3, according to the computer.
Yeah, well, that seems
He
reasonable.
has got to be careful. I'm going to say black has definitely got some compensation.
What's the point of Queen G7? I don't understand it.
Keeps the rook off
Well,
G8.
it stops the rook from going to rook G8.
It doesn't stop it from going to H8.
Come back to G3, Connie, though. Come back to Queen.
What he did,
G3.
or what I did. Now, is what he played now good? Played H3.
Take it.
Play Queen G7. What was the point of Queen G7? Okay.
Bishop takes pawn.
Awesome.
No, I played what, according to the computer, is the best move.
Queen F4.
Queen back here.
Wow.
Now, why is bishop, what's wrong with bishop takes here?
Let's take it, I think.
And according to the computer, he's winning. That's a bit hairy though, doesn't it?
That's
Okay,
Queen
yeah.
D8.
I suppose if you've got 3 days to analyse it, you might be okay. But if you've got 3 minutes, you might take a different view of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The queen went in here. And this one went here. And now he played this move. And I answered with this move.
Yeah, that's good. Which just shows that the queen shouldn't have moved from F6.
Now I am threatening rook G8.
Yeah, sure.
That's quite a nasty threat. And this actually turned the game. Because the move he has to play in order to stay in a good position, well, one of the moves anyway, is very difficult to spot. Actually, according to the computer, there's still 2 or 3 moves that he could have played. But none of them are the sort of first moves that you would think of in this position.
King F1.
Well, that's the move I want to play.
That's
But
what I was thinking of, yeah.
yeah, but the computer hates it.
King F1 is the 11th best move according to the computer, and would give black a 4.25 advantage.
Staggering.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, you'd look at it, wouldn't you? I mean, first move I wanted to play.
Actually, the move he played is giving us the 3rd best move.
Actually, his queen's trapped, isn't it, if he does that?
Well, one of the moves that he could play is actually, believe it or not, this move.
Oh, you're right. His queen is trapped because of rook G8.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
That's why he has to take on B4 to make a flight square on C3, I suppose.
Understand. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess bishop B5 also frees up D4.
Well, if you take here, he takes back with a pawn, and if you come here, then of course he plays pawn takes, and he actually gets out of it, which is quite a nice way to get out of it, I think.
But he loses a piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what did he play?
Unfortunately, I've got a bit of trouble with the screen here. I'm going to have to bring it across a little bit. A3, queen back here. Well, he played knight d4, which isn't too bad. Given us the third best move. But the game starts to change here. And I played rook takes pawn.
Wow.
Well, he seems to have believed me. According to the computer, he should have taken that and sacrificed the queen for the 2 rooks.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But he didn't. He went here. Running for cover. But unfortunately for him, he's also losing this. I don't know why he played like this. He's a very strong player, but I'm quite surprised that he made such a mistake.
Well, it's over now, isn't it?
Well, it should be, but it's rather annoying in correspondence because people tend to play on and on. How he played this move.
Oh, is he picking up your rook?
He is trapping the rook.
Yeah, okay, okay. It's interesting then.
I'll play this move.
Nice. Nicely played.
Queen here. Well, I don't think I'm going to mind going into an end game here. Can't take all my pawns. It's always nice when people check you. Well, he does take this one. And it comes across there. And now I've played rook here. And he resigned.
Nice game.
Yeah, it all revolved around really when he played h3.
It was difficult defensively though.
Yeah.
But the opening wasn't a fantastic success for me, and the computer thought he was doing pretty well for some time before I eventually swung things around. But in a way, it was a nice game to win because my whole idea was that he would take this g7 pawn and I would castle on the queen side. When I played knight c6, that was my idea. And it worked out rather well in the end. You know, it's a bit like when you play the martial attack. If you end up wiping the guy out with a big attack, you're quite pleased because your idea is working, you know.
And, you know, at the time when you were playing that game, did you think you were winning earlier than modern day computers say you were?
Well, I thought it was all right because according to the opening theory, knight c6 and knight g6 are both supposed to be equal.
Yeah.
But Mark is quite right in preferring knight g6 because computers today are suggesting that knight g6 is equal and knight c6 is not equal. White gets some advantage.
But I can see why you would have thought you were winning even when your computer today says you weren't, because you had a solid plan of putting your rooks on g8 and h8 and maybe second on h3 or playing bishop h3 at some point. You had a clear plan, and the initiative, and White had to find some accurate moves to prove all of that was actually a bit of a bluff.
Yeah,
So
today
I could see when it's man against man or person against person rather than computers involved.
Yeah, that's right.
You would have perceived you were winning that when maybe you weren't.
Yeah, well, a game like this wouldn't happen with a lot of people today.
No.
And they'd probably do quite well with White. Having said that, I wouldn't play knight c6 today. And I have a feeling that I played this variation of the game since then. And the next time round, I did choose knight g6, I think. So maybe I came to the conclusion in the end that knight g6 was the best move.
So how many weeks did that game take to complete?
It probably would have taken about 6 to 8 months. You're probably talking about something like a move a week or so. Sometimes you suggest moves to people, so that'll get you through a couple of moves for each transmission.
So, when you got to the middle game, how long would you typically spend on a move? Given the fact you got essentially infinite time, apart from the fact you got the rest of your life to live. How much time did it suck in, and did you sort of, I don't know, did you spend a sensible amount of time on it, or did you overanalyze?
I'm not sure how many games I was playing in 1992, but in 1987 I had 101 games going at one time.
Wow.
And one day, 21 games came back in one day. And I answered 17 of them, and it took me 5¼ hours. That was roughly a quarter of an hour a game. Some of them you can answer quite quickly because some of them are in the openings. So, usually you do the easiest ones first. Or if it's just a recapture, But if you've already decided previously that if he does a certain move, you're going to do something. Sometimes you don't have to spend long periods on things. Sometimes you've already looked at it on the previous go and already decided that if he does a certain thing, you must do a certain move. So sometimes it doesn't take you very long. Other times you get to a critical position where maybe your opponent's done something completely different to what you've analysed, and you might spend quite a bit of time on it. I probably wouldn't usually spend more than half an hour on any one game. That was about the longest. But there was once where I had one game and I analysed it for 4 days, and I couldn't decide whether to sacrifice my queen or not. In the end, I sacrificed my queen to get 2 passed pawns on the 6th rank. It was actually winning. And it was the sort of game where I put it in for a brilliancy prize if I'd gone on to win the game. Later in the game, I made a stupid mistake and the game ended in a draw. So after that, I never sent it in for any sort of... some of my games I've had published in correspondence magazines. And but that game, I spoilt it in the end after deciding to sacrifice my queen. But that was the game that I kept for several days and I just couldn't make my mind up. That happens sometimes. Okay, well, the next game actually does appear in the magazine, and I think it's the only time I ever played this opening.
Is it the Glob, Colin?
No, it's actually the Queen's Gambit Accepted.
Ah, right, okay.
Talking of the Grob, I'm really pleased to see you're still with us, Gordon. Have you got a new computer?
The old one, it worked perfectly all right. We worked on a Zoom meeting on Sunday.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, this game is played against a guy called Carter. I remember this guy. He was famous for playing something boring, no matter what I played against him. But in this game, he played the Reti against me. I used to play D5 against the Reti, but these days I play this move. Normally something like this happens if I play the Reti today. This is called the Capablanca system. And I think this is one of the most reliable ways of playing against the Reti. You have to decide here whether you want to keep your bishop or give it up. If you give it up, you should then put this pawn on this square. If you keep it, you should normally put this pawn on this square. In those days, I used to play D5 against the Reti. He played d4. So now I'm not going to get in my normal Nimzo Indian or Bugo Indian. This is why I do play this knight f6 move now, because if they transpose into queen pawn openings, I can still go into either the Bugo Indian, the Nimzo Indian, or the Catalan, which are all part of my normal repertoire. The Queen's Gambit is not part of my normal repertoire. Having said that, I do play the Queen's Gambit declines sometimes in postal games today. If I've played the Bugo and the Nimzo in the previous game, I like to try to do something different. Now he played e3. I'm not sure how popular e3 is here.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
There's not. You'd know more about it than me, actually. And I decided to take here. I think the Queen's Gambit sector is actually quite an interesting opening, a lot more interesting than Queen's Gambit decline. Now I play c5. I don't know if that's the normal move here, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
d5. Some of you guys who know the theory of this better than I do. At the time, I must have looked it all up. I've still got ECO volumes from 1980, and they're still really good, even today. So I was probably following them. A4, normal response. ECO gives Queen E2 as slightly better for white. So, does he not continue with this? And Bishop B7, I should think, is coming next.
Yep.
Oh, some people know the theory better than me. This is the only trouble. If you decide to play some different opening, you have to rely a lot more on opening books or chess databases now. It's interesting what I'm going to do with this thing, isn't it? I don't know how much of this has been played before. Lots of it, loads of it. Queen E2 is the most popular move. I took, 455 games got to this position in my chess database. But in those days, you didn't have chess databases, so. And I played E5. All this apparently has been played loads of times before. It is supposed to be more or less equals according to the computer. The big question here is how strong or weak is this D pawn going to turn out to be, isn't it? I would have thought. This is all opening theory.
Well,
Actually, all he's done is to get his pawn back, isn't it?
yeah.
Now I play castles. Castles isn't the most popular move. Bishop C5 is the most popular move here. I don't know how does the computer assess this. A bit better for white.
Well, he's got a slight lead in development, hasn't he? But
Sorry?
he's got a slight lead in development, hasn't he? But nothing.
It looks pretty equal to me, actually.
Mm.
Well, Bishop D5 can be played here, but Bishop F4 is actually the most common move. Still 21 games. Bishop C5, 8 games. D2. I wonder how much of this I knew at the time that I played it. Bishop E6 is the most popular here. Rook E8, no games.
That seems a very logical move somehow.
Well, the move he played next isn't very logical, I don't think. I say, what would you play if you were white here? Rook, I would have thought something like rook here.
Yeah, rook there or bishop G5.
Well, he played this move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've put here that rook on A to D1 or bishop to D6. Interesting move, bishop to D6.
Yeah, might be
I
playable.
like that.
Why do you think that's good?
Well, this is what I put in the magazine. This is a long time ago. But looking at it now, if I was white, I would just play rook on A to D1.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Let me say this ending is very equal, I would think.
Yeah.
You'd really expect this to be a draw, wouldn't you? If he plays that, I would expect him to maybe play something like this. And I would expect it to be a draw. But he played knight D5. Just apparently to start him going wrong. How would you play here?
Knight.
You can play knight E4, can't you?
Knight E4, and it's interesting that the top move on the computer is knight E4. How about that?
Yeah.
It must be right because they agree with me.
Is that what he played?
Yeah, this is what I played. Yeah,
You play, sorry. You play,
yeah, I'm black in this game.
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
As far as I remember, my only ever game with the Queen's Gambit accepted. I might play some more in the future. I think it's quite an interesting opening. Rook C2, that's also given us top move.
Bishop F5.
Well, no, Bishop F5 is not considered very good at all here. Haven't you got this move?
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No. I actually played the move that's given us top move by the computer.
Okay.
Now, is it possible? Now, what exactly happens if he goes?
Wow.
If he goes here, bishop takes C4. Which rook do you want to take, boys? Or or do you want to take the bishop?
Take the bishop.
The bishop.
Knight takes F2. No.
Rook on A to C8. Look at this for tactics. Knight takes there, bishop takes there, rook takes rook.
It's nice.
Yes, nice one, yeah.
I should think I must have seen this at the time of the game because I don't think I'd have gone for this if I hadn't seen this. Oh, he played knight C7. So this happened. And now he played knight takes E8. And I played bishop there. I must have seen all this when bishop E6 happened because otherwise I'd be losing.
Okay.
Now he probably should have played rook takes on C5 here.
Yes.
Onto the computer.
Yeah.
Played knight C7. And now he's apparently losing.
Yank again, isn't it? Sorry.
Knight takes F2.
Oh, knight takes. Okay, that's interesting.
Threatening
Yeah.
this move and this move, I'd think. King F1. Knight D3. I wouldn't want to be playing this in blitz, I must admit. It'd be quite tricky. But I'm attacking this and this so you can understand his next move. White has nothing better. Attack it twice. king up, knight c5. Now I'm attacking this one twice. Rook a3. Don't like his development much. Knight b3.
Nice.
That's a bit spiteful, isn't it? Keeping the white rook blocked in.
Yeah.
A5.
Bishop e3.
Bishop takes b2. No?
Yeah, bishop takes b2.
Well, you've got to worry about rook a2 then, haven't you?
Oh, that's a point. Well spotted.
I played bishop e5, exclamation mark. Winning the pawn because bishop d6 with the idea of rook a2, bishop b1, winning the rook. See that idea? Threatening here, this wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't with me, are you? The rook goes here, bishop goes here, and the rook's got no squares to go to. All these three pieces command those three squares. This is probably why I sent this game in, because I like the way that I managed to corner.
Yeah.
So not surprisingly, he gives himself a square. Now I start taking on this side. He's got a problem here because he's got to deal with a 3-to-1 pawn majority on this side. It could become quite useful in the end. Knight to b6.
Shouldn't White have given back the exchange some time ago? I'm not sure when. Because that
we went wrong, I think, when he played.
Yes.
We looked at it, didn't we? He shouldn't have played knight c7 and taken my rook. He should have moved his own rook. But he did this, and his knight got out of the game, and his rooks ended up all hemmed in and in quite a bad position. Otherwise, he probably would have been in the game. And I've been able to make lots of constructive moves in between a while. And of course, like I say, this was before computers dominated it. So you had to work all this out. I probably spent a fair bit of time on this game because this game does require quite a bit of calculation. I don't really want to give up any of my three pieces because they're all doing such a good job. Now it's time to start rolling these pawns down the board. G3. H5. Simple strategy, swap pawns and then mobilize the two passed pawns. Okay, time to give up my knight. I put here now I was convinced that white was lost. I think I was probably convinced a bit of a way before this. King up.
Our rook's not doing much, is it?
Fantastic,
Right. The B pawn and the A pawn.
Just goes to show how strong rooks are on the 7th rank. Actually, the rook wouldn't even be strong on the 7th rank here because he's got nothing to attack. Finally, the rook gets into the game. It's too late. Black has kept the correct minor piece, the one that defends the queenside pawns, while the two kingside pawns will not be denied. Not sure why he did that, but it's not going to do him any good. B5, G4.
Why didn't you just? Couldn't you just kept that pawn with bishop c6?
Well, he's still keeping it, isn't he?
Well, if I play bishop c6, he might play rook b6, threatening a6.
Yep.
I think. a6 anyway, but of course I'm just going to take it. So I don't care about that. Well, that helps me because I actually want to get my king up.
Yeah, it's looking good.
And I'll play that. Yeah.
Mm.
All over.
King F1, King G4. Rook F8, F2. And he resigned at that stage. What would happen if he plays this?
You said F2, but you played G2. Did you mean?
Yeah, was F2 the move, Colin?
Right? F2 is the move.
F2 instead of
Yeah, I
G2?
got it wrong. F2 is the move.
Yeah, I was thinking G2 didn't look so good.
G2 is actually a draw.
Yeah.
Because Bishop D3 is a bit of a threat.
Because this move's coming next.
Yeah, you've got to have the bishop on the white square. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this move's going to happen before long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was quite pleased with that game because that's the only time I've ever played the Queen's Gambit accepted.
Oh, really interesting game.
Nice.
That.
Nice.
Hi, Julian. You want to look at a game that I played with Stippy? Show you my game
Hey,
against
what?
Stippy. Tim Davis was there that day. You saw this game, I think, Dave.
Ipswich.
Stippy.
Oh, Stippy. Sorry.
Guy from Basingstoke, yeah?
Sorry?
Guy from
No, it's
Basingstoke.
at Crowthorne.
Yeah,
Wellington
yeah.
College. It was a county match.
Oh, I remember now, yeah.
Remember it?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I was quite pleased with this game.
What were you, white or black?
I'm white. I've always played this. I play this as white and black. Can anybody tell me what this opening's called?
Buco Piano.
No, it's not.
Two knights.
Buco Piano is actually this move. And that's what I normally play. But online, I've actually been playing this move recently. I've been trying this move out. But you have to watch out for this move if you're going to play this. It's quite a tricky move. But now he played this. So what's it called?
Two knights defence.
Two knights defence. Can anybody tell me why it's called the two knights defence when you got three knights out?
Black can only defend with two knights.
There is an opening called the three knights, believe it or not. So they couldn't call it the three knights. They should have come up with something else because...
The five knights.
Well, no, you can't call it the five knights.
Why not?
Maybe they should call it the Colin Lyne opening.
3 degrees.
3 knights and a bishop.
I think in Bangkok you can have 7 knights.
Just out of interest, what would you do if white now went here? Because I actually get this position, but I don't get it by playing this move order. I get it if they play the 4 knights, then they play bishop c4, then I get this position.
Well, you can play knight takes pawn.
Yeah. Actually, I played that against Wellington College. We went to Wellington College to play the boys a while back. And I played this boy. He turned out to be really, it was a bit of a, on the 3 bottom boys, Tim, me and Peter Tart were all competing for who can finish first in our games. My opponent could have resigned after 12 moves. And yeah, this is what I played against him. You can either go here. This is what often happens. Or you can take here. You can play this. This is quite playable. This is just equal. In both cases, black has got easy equality. There's something else that happens here. is this move. This move is tricky. Now I normally play this move.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think they go here and you play here. And they go here and you play here.
Wow.
And if you know that much theory, you're usually okay. But they also play other things. Some of them play queen up here.
Yeah.
And you need to play queen e7. It's very tricky, that line is. And it can take you a long time to get your king into safety.
So when you do knight h4 g6,
Knight 4 g6, yeah.
yeah, and then you play what did white play here? F4.
F4, and you go
And you
f5. You're attacking.
Can't you play knight takes f5?
Yeah, I was wondering that. Yeah. No. Oh, you might have d5. Oh, no, you might not actually.
Yeah, knight takes f5. Go on.
Instead of f4.
Sorry?
d5.
d5. And black is winning hands down. He's going to play
point.
bishop
Fair
takes
point.
f5 next.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the guy in the correspondence game let me take his knight. I couldn't believe it. He just was fine. He was very good.
Ouch.
Okay, so we go back to this position. You can play this move, but then you're just going to go into Gokko Piano. This is super boring. I hate people who play this. I just think they don't know. They couldn't play interesting chess to save their lives. The fun move here is this move.
I beat Ken Norman with that in a county match. There you go.
Did ya?
Yeah. Well, what
I just think it's really boring, that line.
What do you play here? D5.
Yeah, but what would happen? What would you do if you played this move?
Get out a book with loads of
I would,
theory.
I wish I'd learnt some theory before I played knight g5.
You play this, Steve? If you played this,
I've played the two knights a bit in the past, but I've never played.
Right.
bishop
What happens
g5.
after knight takes f7 then?
knight takes f7 has a terrible history to it.
This is the Traxler, isn't it, Colin?
Traxler, yeah.
Or Wilkes-Barre?
Wilkes-Barre,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can call it the Wilkes-Barre bar, or else it's called the Traxler counterattack. I call it the Traxler. And this is actually the best move, believe it or not.
Yeah.
If he plays this, you take this. And this is supposed to be really good for black. No, I never play that. This is the move to play. This is how you play against this. Now you bring this back here. This probably threatens this move. So you need to castle here. And often they play this move now. And you play this move. And there's two traps they can fall into here. One is if they play this move. How would you answer this move?
Knight to play queen takes knight.
Queen takes knight.
Not legal.
Knight d5?
Queen takes
Knight d5.
Yeah.
Because if he moves his king, you're going to play knight takes knight there, and then win this.
It's good.
And this has actually happened to me in certain games. And then the knight has to come here in order to stop this mate. And you just take this pawn off. If he moves the rook there, you're going to play queen g7 and win the rook in the corner, and you might as well resign already. But there's also another nice trap, and it's this one. And you would not believe what white plays here. On the internet, I think I played this about 15 times, and I think I lost once out of those 15. There's several books on the two knights, and only Pal Covey's book has got this move in it. I discovered this because I was analysing on my computer, and it came up with this move. The computers all find this. They find it in seconds. I'm saying, wouldn't you think that white is going to go knight f3 here? You might think, cool, that would be good because I'll get bishop g4 in, and, you know, that pin is a bit annoying. Knight d4 would be coming. he's really on the ropes here.
Yeah.
But you actually stun him with this move.
Queen. Oh.
No matter where he goes now, you're going to check him with your queen.
Oh, yeah.
Unless he goes here, in which case you'll probably just play knight takes f7, c7, and take his rook. But he's actually losing.
He's playing queen g4, aren't you? Was it close to mate?
Yeah.
Oh no, king drops back to f7.
Actually, the only guy who beat me was the guy who played this, and I played knight takes c7, thinking that was winning. And but it actually turns out that you should play queen h5 here.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, because the threat's still there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's right. This is what you should play here. And so I learnt something there. It's quite a nice little trap, isn't it? So we go back to here. He didn't play that. He played this move. This is where white has to know a lot of theory, because black now can hit him with several moves. The only move that gets his pawn back is this one, but this is actually regarded as something narrow. And Shirov actually faced this in one Olympiad. And you can play two moves here. You can either play, no, I normally play this move. And interestingly enough, Andy Martin was only saying recently that he thought this was the best move. But Shirov actually played this move. Now the idea is to go here. Now the computer, I've seen this with the computer before. The normal move here, I think, is queen e4. Let's have a look. Oh, oh no. I know I normally go queen e4, but the computer seems to like the move castles here. And seems to think, oh, my computer's giving queen e4 here. c6, a3, knight a6. And it's very difficult to get out problems. You can castle, play d4 or f4, and sooner or later he's going to have to give the piece back. My computer's given d4 here.
Good.
What happens if you play? You probably play f4, yeah. It's just very, very difficult. Anyway, he didn't make that mistake. I didn't expect him to. You can play this move. You can play this move. If you play this move, the best move is bishop f1. But he played this move. This is supposed to be the best move. If he takes back with a knight, you play your bishop back to c4.
I think bishop d7's playable, isn't it, after bishop b5 check?
Blair O'Connell played that against me, and he beat me. Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not normal, but I think it's playable.
It's very playable. If Blair played it, you can be sure it's playable. And normally they play this now. At this stage, you take this. But one of the ideas of this is to eventually push this knight away and get in f5. And black is quite active in that line. That's the most common move here. Castles is the most common. a3 is a move. a3 sets a little trap. He has to go b6 against a3. Covey seemed to think that was quite a good move, actually. Yeah, so if you go back to c6, takes. Now, for years and years, I used to play this move. But he actually gets quite active against this. And I got thrashed in a correspondence game once where the guy played this move. But you don't just have to worry about this move. You also have to worry about this move when he's got to go f4. You can't castle. That's a bit of a mess. And you've also got bishop to d6. That's the most normal move. And he definitely gets counterplay against this. I don't think you get any advantage with this whatsoever. Andy Martin went on YouTube and even thought that this was busted. Well, according to the computers, it's about equals. But Nakamura and Luke McShane both started playing this move, bishop to d3. And the only moves you can play is this. You have to know your theory if you're going to play this, because white is now black's now sacrificing two pieces, 2 pawns. Probably goes here, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, Queen F3 is his most normal move. And well, I went by. This is one of the reasons why I don't play the 2 knights, and I play Bishop C5 on move 3, because I don't like being 2 pawns down. But in actual fact, this position is quite equal according to the computers. Computers, yeah, they more or less assess it as dead equal. But you have to really know how to play this line, otherwise you'll just end up 2 pawns down for nothing sooner or later. So anyway, I play this move. The idea of this move is if he goes 8-6, you're going to bring your knight back to here.
Yeah.
Anyway, what does Stippy do? He did go 8-6. This is actually supposed to be the best move. I also played a game against Roger de Coverley where I also played this line against him and I beat him as well. I've actually scored, over the Waters games, I think I've scored 3.5 out of 4. I think Stuart Knox was the only guy to draw with me. So I've done all right with it. And now he played this move. I'm in castles. Bishop E7 is supposed to be the best, but he played this move, which doesn't really surprise me. And I played, well, you can go Bishop E2 here, but I played Rook E1. Both of these moves get played quite a bit. They're supposed to both lead to some sort of opening advantage. I'm just trying to get on with getting my pieces out. And I kept thinking he's going to take this pawn, but he just never takes it.
Why not?
I don't understand why he didn't take it. I would expect him to take it. I would just continue developing. Maybe he thought he could take it any time he likes. After all, you can put the bishop on here and eventually take this pawn.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So he doesn't need to take it in a hurry. Now, the computers think that Bishop E7 is best. And I was quite surprised when he played Bishop D6. Because in my opinion, if the bishop goes to D6, you should take it. For a start, you're stopping him from gaining the tempo when he plays this. But this bishop can be quite annoying if it comes against this. And so I played this. And according to the computer now, I've got a totally winning advantage. It's well over 1, and it only needs to be about 0.7 to be considered winning. Knight C3. There's still a lot of pieces on the board now. Castles. Now, B3 I played next. The computer for some reason likes B4. I'm not quite sure why. B3. Oh, now it's going for B3. The idea is to play a plan like this. Bishop here, rook C1, and then maybe bring your knight round to here and here.
Yeah.
And you'd have quite a nice position. In fact, if he hasn't taken your pawn by there, he may find it's difficult to win it. Rook E8. Bishop B2. Bishop F5. Knight E4. No, you really should take this pawn now.
Yeah, queen takes pawn, surely.
Yeah.
Knight C5 is still very good for me, though. According to the computer. And Knight C5 also hits this the second time. But he didn't play that. Again, it's almost like he had an aversion to playing this move for some reason. So B3, rook E8. Knight E4, and he played Queen D5. So I played rook c1.
Yeah, that's good.
Threatens to win a piece.
Yeah.
It's always nice to develop with threats. Knight b7. Rook c3.
Wow.
Somebody said to me afterwards they really like that move.
Wouldn't have occurred to me, Colin.
Sorry?
That wouldn't have occurred to me at all.
Well, I'm just basically saying now I am going to keep this pawn.
Oh, right, okay.
I may even play rook e3 or queen e2 or queen c2.
Why not?
But, you know, I want to eventually exchange this pawn here off for this one. Or even this one.
Why not rook e3 rather than rook c3?
Well, rook e3 is also possible.
With the
but I
that
think
might become a bit dual purpose with that.
I think the idea of doubling on here is quite strong. Because if I can win this c pawn, I've suddenly got a 2-to-1 queenside and pawn majority. And you'll see how I win eventually. So he played rook on a to d8.
I've lost you guys.
Bye.
Right.
Bye. Who's that going, Tim?
Yeah, I've lost you guys. My screen's gone blank again. I'm pressing escape, which worked before, but it's not working this time.
We can see you.
He played that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see anything.
You're still connected, so it must be just your Windows not showing right.
Yeah.
Press the Windows button, shall I? Oh, that doesn't help.
So I play queen e3 now. Obviously. And he played that move. So I just took it.
So hang on, why did he take with the rook?
Why did he take with the rook?
Yeah.
I think he should have taken this.
I'm just wondering, it just looks more logical. Oh, maybe not.
I'm going to take that one. Well, I am attacking this pawn.
Yeah.
Hasn't he got?
It's got f5 though there.
F5.
Yeah, because G6 is on freeze. I just realised.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you play this.
Ah, good point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think you just take this.
And you can take.
My position is still very good. Anyway, he did take with the rook, and I took on c6. He took on d3. Now I just play this move. I'm determined not to let him win this pawn. So he played f6, which apparently isn't all that good. Not quite sure why he played that. So I went rook c7. And now he took on e4. So I took back. Knight d6. Rook e3. Rook d5. Rook d7, just threatening this move.
You're not taking his a7 pawn then?
Well, no, if I can win the piece rather than the pawn, I'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah.
And he may play knight b5 next. If I took that, I took the a7 pawn, what do you say? Can he play this move, new variation? Can he play this move? And he's getting a certain amount of activity. So I'm not quite sure that I think I prefer the move I played. Let's see what the computer thinks. Rook d7, top move. A4, f4, second move now. Rook a7, yeah. Rook d7 is undoubtedly the top move here, by some way. So rook c8. I was to defend it, so now I just bring my king in. Now I do take this. He played knight b5. So I played rook a8, king f7, a4, knight c3, rook c3.
Rook c3.
Rook on c to d6, is that? Yeah. Rook c2. Of course, I'm quite happy to just keep swapping pieces off. a5, rook b2, rook b8, king e6, b4, king d5, a6, rook a2, b5, f5, rook b7, g5, a7, with the idea of going b6, rook there, and pawning. And at that stage, he resigned. So in the end, my plan of getting pressure down the c file, winning this pawn and this pawn, all worked out in the end because I was able to push these passed pawns down the board, wasn't I?
Yeah, very good.
Well, I think that's probably enough for tonight.
I mean, if Black's going in for that 2 knights defence sort of main line, it makes no sense whatsoever to swap off pieces as readily as he did.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to justify being a pawn down is with active piece play.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I also had the game against Roger de Colin. It was very interesting. And he got a certain amount of activity, but for some reason, at some stage, he decided to play his knight into f4 when I was more worried about him playing f5. He needs to try to create some pressure on the king side.
Yeah.
I mean, so all the computers give it as equal. There's no doubt about it. It's a perfectly valid defense to play. The move queen f3 is the move that worries me if I was black, because he's now winning 2 pawns, and you've got to find a way to create activity. But I've never played. Maybe I should play queen f3 sometime. I used to play bishop e2 for a long time, but now I play bishop d3. But in serious over-the-board games, I have scored 3.5 out of 4, and Stuart Knox is the only person who's drawn me. So, but you're supposed to actually play this move. I think this line is supposed to be the best. Let's see what he plays now. Bishop d6 now. Castles, castles. Rook e1, rook e8, knight c3, f5. This is the line that I find most. Now here he is getting activity. You've got to be very careful here. We say bishop f1 is supposed to be the best move. If he plays this, yeah, I think there's some reason why you've got to play knight takes knight now. Oh yeah, it's because if you went knight d4 immediately, you could play bishop h2, I think, and win the knight. And now you have to play like this. And white is supposed to be slightly better here, but black has got definite counter chances here. I would say if he plays a move like this, this looks a bit worrying, doesn't it? It's not as worrying as it looks. Actually, I think he just played g3. And if you can get this move in, then this is the move you really want to get in. If you can get this move in and control this square, oops, I don't know quite what happened there, then you're doing okay. But that's the way he's got to play, something like that, if he really wants to justify playing this sort of stuff, I think. Stuart Knox seemed to know quite a lot about it, and he actually put me under some pressure in that game. I was quite happy to draw with him. Yeah. Okay, well, that's it for tonight.
Well done, Colin. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you very much.
Very good.